Good evening. Welcome to SEC Baseball Reaction on a Saturday night of Easter weekend. I'm your host, Chris Lee, joined by Alfred Esmond, and I believe later to be joined by Graham Doty and maybe Jay Greason. We'll have to see. Obviously, it is Easter weekend. Lots going on here. Lots of baseball going on. As we are doing this, in case you catch us later on replay, we have got, excuse me a minute. Turn the volume down on that. Okay, we have got Vanderbilt has swept Georgia. Texas has swept Auburn. Ole Miss in the books, salvaging the series in Columbia today against South Carolina. As we're doing this, Tennessee and Kentucky in the bottom of the ninth, Kentucky holding a 4-1 lead. I am tuning in an iPad to my right to watch Alabama and LSU, which is coming down to the late innings. And I think Florida and Mississippi State, have they started already?
They have. Top of the second, 2-1 Mississippi State.
Okay. So we've got 3 in the books, 3 on the way to being in the books. Alabama, LSU is 5-3 in Alabama's favor, as LSU has won the first 2 games of the series, and Mississippi State leading Florida 2-1 after getting blown out last night. Alfred, thanks for joining us. The world's only Tampa Bay Rays fan. They may be the Raleigh Rays. Before too long, who knows? Sam Smith in the chat. Thanks, Sam, for joining us. Happy Easter. Dash Riprock, who's been a regular lately, too. Here, and Gig 'em Bard here. Boy, Aggies gigged them in Fayetteville. Didn't see that one coming. We'll talk about today. We can maybe talk about the weekend. Alfred, start us off. What caught your eye today among games completed?
Well, I'll side with Gig and Bart here. I sent this in earlier, Chris. Texas A&M after this series against Arkansas, 38 in RPI, and not too long ago they were in the 100s. Quite the incredible comeback, quite the series from the Aggies overall. Just super impressed with what they did. That was the doubleheader yesterday. Obviously, Arkansas won the middle game, the second game of that series, but A&M stormed back. And with a vengeance, too, in that third game. Jace Laviolette with 2 home runs in that one. Luke Jackson got the win on the mound, 3 2/3, 5 strikeouts, no earned runs over his stretch. A&M was stifling that Arkansas offense in the later innings of that third game. So, great stuff. Great stuff from Texas A&M. I mean, like I said, huge RPI jump. Right back in the mix. We'll see how this continues to climb, Chris. I don't know if we should just talk about a 2 seed. I know it's tough at this point based on how their season started. Maybe this team could sneak in and host towards the end of the year if they get a good Hoover in. I don't know. You've been around longer and may have a different thought about that, but the jump in RPI has been crazy, to say the least.
I don't rule it out. I mean, and here's the thing where the schedule is both your friend and your enemy. It's your enemy in that you've got to go to Texas, you've got to go to Georgia, you've got to play LSU in College Station. I don't think anybody wants that schedule. I mean, the SEC is never easy, but that's brutally tough. Missouri in between, by the way. Now, your friend is you start beating those teams. Like, you see how fast they've moved up the RPI. I'm going back. Heading into after 4 weeks of play, and I kept the log on this. I don't have it for 1 week, but after week 4, A&M was 140 in the RPI. After week 5, it was 118. After week 7, it was 107. And then it moved to 60 after beating Tennessee, and it moved to 49 after the South Carolina win. You said, 38 now?
38.
Yeah. Now, it gets harder to move up, obviously, as the season gets longer because you've got more games banked. But at Texas, the number 2 RPI team in the country, at Georgia, the number 1 RPI team in the country, even after this weekend, and LSU somewhere in the top 10 after tonight, maybe closer to the top 5. So, yeah, you keep winning games and taking care of business if you're the Aggies. Your possibilities to get wherever it is you want to go may really, really jump.
Absolutely. Yeah. Looking forward to watching it because it's been a really cool story to see them kind of come back like this.
Hello, Jay Greason.
How's everybody doing today?
Pretty good. Happy
Good.
Easter.
You're not happy Easter to you guys. You're not doing as good as Jace Laviolette is. I mean, dear God.
No.
Man.
Man. Hey, that guy's hitting more sweet spots than a drunk fat man at bedtime. I mean, dear goodness, man. Everything looks like a grapefruit to that dude. I listened to y'all, and you're spot on. And, Chris, I love what you said about the schedule's your enemy and your friend, because A&M saying bring all comers at this point.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I remember one year A&M got a national seed. I want to say with an RPI in the 20s or maybe low 30s, because it lit up the SEC. No, it's not going to have an SEC record probably as gaudy as it had that year, but the committee will be paying attention. Obviously, you can't separate the name on the jersey from the resume. Everybody remembers how good that team was a year ago, and everybody knows Caden Sorrell missed some time with injury too. So,
but also everybody in the committee also knows Florida got off to a wretched start this time a year ago, playing their best ball when the calendar went from April to May, and the next thing you know, they're in Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kentucky has just finished up a series win to even that series in Knoxville. Nick McKay today was just amazing. Threw, I think, 116 pitches, and Carson Osmer for Alabama to close that one out in Baton Rouge. 2 outs in the 8th, so got a ways to go in that one.
Yeah, looking at that Tennessee game, man, Sam Smith talked about it. So many offers tonight from that lineup. I mean, Dalton Barger, Reese Chapman, Manny Marin got an at-bat, didn't get a hit. Jay Abernathy went over. Cannon Peebles in 2 at-bats went over, and the only hits they could get were from Hunter Ensley, Gavin Keelan, Dean Curley, all with just 1. Probably the most uncharacteristic Tennessee game you could think of in recent memory, and it happened tonight. And now Kentucky has smelt blood in the water, and if they can get a chance to steal the series with the way they play, if they play like this tomorrow, it would be huge for them. Sam mentions in the chat 10 stolen bases for Kentucky program record. That seemed like a winning formula tonight, so maybe that continues.
Hey, Alfred, Chris, I mean, I think we talked a little bit about this earlier Monday, maybe even late last week, but the Phillips kid's going to have to do something, or everybody in this league is going to turn into a track meet, because everybody's running on that kid.
Yeah, 10 steals today, for my goodness. I mean, and here's another little sleepy thing with the weekend, okay? You had 2 teams that can do some stuff, small ball, play defense, give the big home run hitting teams some issues this weekend. That's
but
one of them.
Be a little more impressed. Yeah. I mean, what Vandy did was eye popping. I mean, yeah. You said in the chat, I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card, and I know we'll get to that. But Kentucky did this on the road.
Yeah, yeah. And Nick McKay tonight was amazing. 116 pitches, would have gotten a shutout. Hit Cole Hage, I think it was Hage, not dropped a fly ball that was almost foul, and that gave Tennessee a chance to get a run. But like, he didn't give up a base runner like the 5th, 6th, 7th innings, I think, if I heard the TV guys right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tennessee's 1 run did not come until the 8th. They had no answer for him whatsoever.
How close are games like this? Make me really eager to hear Tony V in the press conference, because if anybody's going to do the Rick Barnes, remember when Rick Barnes kind of pushed Chaz Lanier into traffic a little bit this year, and he benched him, and he said, "We don't pay him not to shoot." I'm waiting for him to say, "We don't pay Fisher not to hit bombs." I mean, I'm just waiting for something, a little fire from this guy. It would not be his MO to – he's always got his kids back, and that's commendable. But it'll be interesting to see. This was so un-Tennessee-like.
Well, I don't think Andrew Fisher's where he's going to start. Fisher got a walk late at a time when nobody was getting on base. Took 2 today. It actually gave them a chance to catch up late. I think the issue is going to be Marcus Phillips' control. He walked 4 guys today. Russell walked a guy. Breedlove walked a guy. and then as you mentioned, just the base running wild. I think that's your issue. And Cannon Peebles is looked competent defensively at times, especially throwing guys out. But I think the problem, I don't think that's a point of emphasis for the Tennessee staff, is holding runners on. And for a team that has not had much of a kryptonite the last 4 or 5 years, teams have found that, and that's at least the second time we've seen a team just go crazy. And I think it was Phillips's last start too, wasn't it, Alfred?
I think the league's got a book on him. I mean,
yeah.
Whether it's he's got to tell when he's going to the plate, whether his delivery is just that much slower. But, I mean, when he comes set, it's like somebody firing a starter's pistol and everybody's in a 40-yard dash to second.
Yeah. I think it's slow time to home, just from what people in the industry have kind of mentioned. But I'm not sitting there with a stopwatch either. So, let's see. Alabama has taken LSU to the 9th with a 2-run lead. So anyway, for Kentucky today, anything else that stood out? You probably got to see a little bit more of that one than I did. I was a little bit all over the place.
Tyler Bell was pretty massive today. Double, 2 hits. Ryan Schwartz came in with 2 hits as well. That was something that I would not have expected necessarily. But yeah, I mean, it starts with their pitching. Not only McKay, but Jackson Novy came in and struck out 3 as well. So Tennessee struck out 15 times tonight.
Man.
There's got to be an adjustment there for tomorrow, obviously, and I trust them to do it. I mean, I think, they're as trustworthy as any team ever to really adjust to not striking out. So we'll see tomorrow, but the pressure's on a little bit, obviously, to not let Kentucky sneak into Knoxville and get a series win.
Yeah. Tomorrow, what's the pitching matchup?
Coons and Cleaver.
Yeah. Josh
So
says the hitting was the issue. And look, Nick McKay dealt tonight, a 7th-year senior from, where's he from? South Dakota State. Not really a power guy as much in his history. Not that he can't strike guys out, but that's look. There was a lot of stuff on the bingo card this weekend, guys, that we didn't have. Nick McKay striking out 12 guys and going within a drop fly ball of going 8 complete was not one there either.
Right. Yeah, and Josh, I do agree with you a little. If you want me to give you an answer, the hitting, obviously, I think Tennessee can beat a team if they hold them to 4 runs. We've seen that happen before this year. So that's really where it starts, I think. And yet Phillips didn't necessarily, maybe he wasn't alert enough to base runners and whatnot. But to be fair, the 2 runs he gave up were not earned. So they weren't necessarily on him, those runs on the stat sheet. It does start with hitting, and we'll see how that happens tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go to Austin. Texas sweeps Auburn in one of the better series wins of the year. Oh, Graham's here. Didn't see him. Hello, Graham. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter,
Happy Easter, boys. Happy Easter. Baseball and Easter. What a deal.
That's right.
Did you just get back from church? You don't have a hat on.
I had a game today. This was my first broadcast in a couple of weeks. So I had a game in the great state of Alabama today.
Okay.
I got home like an hour ago.
Man, well, thank you for joining us. Let's see, where were we? We were at Texas. Kimble Schuessler, guys, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs today. Texas completes a sweep against Auburn. Ike Irish had a really good series for the Tigers, but Texas continues to roll along. And let's see, series left. A&M next weekend. That'll be one for the ages next week in many ways. And then Arkansas, Florida, Oklahoma. So not going to be easy. But I think you take Texas to the field right now to win this league with what, a 3-game lead?
Yeah. They're going to hold that number 1 spot, quite obviously, but also with home runs tonight, Casey Borba, and then Adrian Rodriguez. Yeah, he homered as well. So big stuff all around. I continue to say it, and I will say it until it stops happening. For Texas to hit as well as they can without Max Ballou, It should be spread out amongst the lineup, and that's what it was. Schuessler did have 2, but you had the other guys come in and contribute with home runs as well. So that's what stood out to me hitting-wise. Riojas came in and, went only 3 innings. They sent in Jason Flores, who got the win, struck out 3, gave up 1 earned run, but did stretch it out and go 3 2/3. And in the end, with how the offense played, that was enough to get this thing done. So big win for Texas here. Austin is not kind for visiting teams. It's pretty obvious at that point, and that's how it's going to continue through the season and through the postseason.
The stat I saw that kind of blew my hair back there are 2 teams in America that have a combined ERA under 3. One is Western Kentucky, and the other is the Texas Longhorns. And Texas is doing it against a little bit better competition.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's just staggering. And if you take Ike Irish out, I don't know if Auburn scores twice. I mean, I think Irish homered in every game.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's got a better resume than Texas after this weekend?
Nobody.
I don't think so.
0.
Yeah.
0.
They'd be the number 1 seed in the tournament right now, and I don't think it would be much of a discussion.
No.
And if you don't think these numbers are going to go up, you should buy this like Forrest Gump bought Apple stock on Lieutenant Dan's tip. The cheapest ticket to get in next week against Texas A&M and Texas series is already $100.
Man.
Ooh.
By the way, that ERA stat is super impressive. I looked it up just now because I was like, I don't know. I'm not as familiar with watching that park series in and series out like I am other ones in the league because this is Texas' first year. I'm looking at the Action Network's park factors. Texas has got a park factor of 1.17, which means on average you score 17% more runs in that park than you do in an average park. It's the same as Tennessee's. That is incredible. I mean, those are great pitching numbers, even if you're in a pitcher's park. But that is remarkable in that.
What all goes into that? Like, what are they?
They're not exact, but they basically compare what teams do in playing in that park versus what they do other places. You don't have nearly the data sample that you have in MLB parks. You've got disparity in competition that goes into it a little bit too. So I don't take them as seriously and fewer games, right? The rolling, they've got 1.26 over 3 years and 1.08 over 6 years. So I don't know if they made any, changes to dimensions or anything in that time, but point is everything you look at says that's a hitter's park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. I've been there a few times.
Say that with caution, Chris. That doesn't usually go well with a lot of people when that is said.
What's that?
Just kidding. Hitter's park. People don't like it.
Yeah. No.
People don't like it usually. And I'm like, well, it's fun for you when you go and watch it there. So I don't know what to complain about, but it's worked for them. It's worked for them.
Here's the thing that a team's arms have to pitch in it too, which is what has made what Tennessee's done really impressive the last few years. But anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even this year, I mean, they were talking about it. Giga mentioned it. Tennessee's team ERA was number 1 in the country at one point. I think A&M ruined that, but that was impressive and remarkable. Seeing, look at what Liam Doyle does this year. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? In a hitter's park. So, yeah, but nonetheless, ultra impressed with Texas. No number 1 curse this weekend either. We can have a number 1 for multiple weeks.
Yeah, that is true. First number 1 that hasn't gone down in a while.
Mm-hmm.
That stat Jay had the other day, 5 SEC teams have already been number 1. It's a pretty crazy stat.
And that doesn't include Vanderbilt or Florida, which, like, if you'd said 5 years ago, who are the best programs in college baseball, it's those two. And doesn't include 2 other teams that have won titles this decade.
Right.
Yeah. By the way, you guys, do you think that Texas A&M series, do you think they put that in Austin on purpose?
I've wondered about that from the day they released the schedule, to be honest.
Why? You think there are going to be any emotions in that series?
None. Zero.
That is going to be must-see TV.
This is going to be the first time that the coach is going to get hit. He's going to get brushed back taking the lineup card out on Friday night.
Oh, man. I mean, and like a few weeks ago, we were looking at that series as like, okay, that'll be interesting just because we at the time we didn't expect it might be because the baseball might be pretty interesting too.
And now, I mean, it's not wrong to say it's the best team in America against the hottest team in America.
Probably so. Yeah.
That'll be a fun one.
One more thing about Texas. I feel like I scrolled up and saw Texas Rock say this. We need to talk about Jonah Williams, by the way, in his debut. Yeah. Multi-sport athlete, of course, for Texas. That's always impressive no matter where you do it. It's really impressive when you do it for Texas. And he comes in, I could be wrong, 2 hits in his debut at the plate. I mean, just phenomenal stuff. And it's just more depth for this Texas team to use, in the absence of Max Ballou.
As we tippy-toe to Easter, I would say that Jonah had a whale of a day.
Doo-doo.
What? Bible joke.
That's an excellent joke.
2 for 2. What else you got?
Oh, are you kidding me? I'm loaded with yolks.
Don't try this, man.
Seriously. I mean,
I want to see all the Easter content you got.
Shall I pull out the plate of deviled eggs I'm about to make?
That'll be 2 of us tomorrow. Oh yeah, this is.
Hey, let's hop along. I mean, let's just hop along.
All right, we'll hop along. Just Texas bringing the band to a baseball game. Did you guys catch that?
Yes,
I did. So this is a new thing in college baseball. The first time I saw this season, Clemson did it in the South Carolina series, and then for Texas went all out. Like it was the whole band tonight. So I'm all for it. I don't know how it's going to work in different ballparks moving forward, but I think it's fantastic.
Kansas and Florida State have done it before too, and I think Kansas started this year. I'm with you, Graham. It's awesome. I mean, I saw some people being like, it's not supposed to be in baseball. It's college baseball. Yeah. Emphasis on that. And college sports have bands everywhere.
Now, let me tell you what would be an issue if they tried to do this in Mississippi. Like you can't just kick people out of their seats now like that. That's not gonna fly over. Like I'm watching the state game right now. Like if you just put 80 people or however many people in the band, in left field, that's not gonna happen.
Mm-mm.
Alfred, were you at Clemson when they pulled the band out? That was South Carolina. Okay, I thought you've been to Clemson a lot. I thought maybe you had timed it right.
No, they do play that "We Like to Party" song a lot. Graham, I think they definitely did that when you did the game there.
Yeah, I've been there twice this season, so they do the salute to the veterans, which is cool. Like the whole team, no joke, will come up in the stands and we'll shake the hand of a veteran. Like Backage has really, really done an awesome job of being really engaged with the community there, and he brings back the legend. Jack Leggett is in the dugout for every home game too. He lives in Greenville and just commutes over.
By the way, Alabama adding a little distance late against LSU, still hitting in the 8th. Just played it a run on the sac fly.
So to me, I was watching it live when it happened. Justin LeBron was at the plate, and I was paranoid that he broke his ham bone. That's a thing in baseball here lately. He never got hit by a pitch, but he swung and missed it, and then was really grimacing. And then the athletic trainer and Rob Vaughn and all them went out. So that's something to monitor moving forward for Bama and LeBron, because if he he goes down, that is obviously big news for Bama.
Well, he has not been hitting for power the way he was early. And look, a lot of that certainly is SEC pitching, but nothing will kill your your power faster than a hand injury,
Mm-hmm.
which makes me wonder.
Give credit to them tonight too. Jake Brown, I believe, came in and hit a home run to get LSU right within striking distance, down 5-3. And this, and usually with how Alabama's been playing, I'm kind of like, that could be trouble, especially in Baton Rouge. And they didn't bat an eye about it, and they're extending the lead. So that would be a huge win. Get all you can while you're in Alex box, is what I say.
I'm just now seeing Josh's comment. Josh, where are you going to put the Tennessee band in that ballpark? Like,
Just create another deck.
I mean, Alfred, you would know. Like, can they cram the band in that ballpark?
Yeah, on the cranes. They can put them up and down the crane. Might have to take the Tennessee flag down, but I mean, if you want Rocky Top playing, you could do that. Sam would know. Let Sam handle it.
What was Tony V talking about yesterday with the Smokies? Like, he was talking about Tennessee Smokies in his post-game press conference and the crowd last night. Does anybody have any idea what he's talking about?
That's the local minor league team.
I know, but what do they have to do with the Tennessee Vols?
They have a new ballpark, and it was opening day recently for them. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe he's just like, hey, that's going on.
Interesting shot across the bow right there, though, considering the guy who owns the Tennessee Smokies is also the president of the University of Tennessee system, Randy Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Did not know that.
So, wait, they got a new stadium, the Smokies?
Yeah.
So they're not in Kodak anymore, or are they?
No, it's downtown and paid for in large part by the city.
Yeah.
Really? How'd that go over?
Well, Randy Boyd pulling strings, brother.
Yeah. It goes over well. You don't have to go hiking 400 miles to watch the Smokies play baseball. So
I know. I broadcast games in that ballpark before.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure Knoxville people like it.
I'll bet, especially if it's downtown. If it's anything what Birmingham did, it's going to be a moneymaker for
Chattanooga's
Knoxville.
doing it.
New
Another
stadium?
ballpark? Really?
Yep. Doing it down there on the gateway to the city coming from the west.
The backside where
Foundry used to
TVA
be.
and all that? Yeah.
What's that?
Back there where the TVA side of things?
No, as you're coming by the river, as it bends around, as you start coming into the city, it's where the old Wheeling Foundry used to be.
Okay. I'm sure I've seen it, but
You know, you've had plenty of chance to see it because traffic there sucks.
yeah. Well, that ballpark, and we'll get back to SEC in a minute. That ballpark's only been around, 25 years, if even that, 20 years? Yeah.
25.
It's up on the Big Bluff.
Oh, yeah.
Never been, but wanted to.
Shout out Larry Ward.
Yeah, hey,
Voice of the
watch
lookout
Larry
for a
Ward.
minute. Yeah.
a legend.
Let's see. Go ahead. Sorry.
That guy is hilarious to listen to in a blowout. If neither pitcher loses the strike zone, he gets angry. Come on, throw strikes.
You're not lying.
You know where they threw strikes today?
Nashville. Yeah,
They
did.
A sweep would not have surprised me coming into this one.
What?
I didn't think it'd be Vandy sweeping though. I mean, I thought that was an awful matchup stylistically for Vanderbilt. They pitched and defended out of their minds this weekend.
Yeah. So guys, like I got no finger on Vanderbilt. Like I've been dead wrong on them for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I pick them to win, they get swept. I pick them to lose, and then they sweep. So I got no idea. Like they're the most schizophrenic team in the SEC. Like they're either awesome or they just don't show up. And Chris, it looked like they got a lot of home runs this weekend too.
They got what, 5 or 6,
which is a lot for Vandy.
A lot for them,
Yeah.
right?
I also think, though, I mean, if we're going to talk about schizophrenic, and maybe it's not schizophrenic as much as it is how good you are when you sleep in your own bed and play in a ballpark that's a jet stream compared to how you are on the road. But I think when we get to the postseason, no team in this league is going to be more dependent on getting a national seed to get to Omaha than the Georgia Bulldogs. Because on the road, they look pretty, good, but not great. And at home, they're really hard to handle.
That are the one that beat them today.
Yeah.
Because it works in reverse for Vanderbilt. I mean, it's more of a pitcher's park, and it plays to their favor. I mean, the only thing about that park that's not a pitcher's park is they got about 4 feet of foul territory. But other than that, it favors pitching.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, Josh, I see in the comment section, like, I can't disagree with you more, brother. Like, I don't want 24/17 baseball game. I don't want to be at the ballpark for 4 hours.
No, go watch Division II, Division III baseball if you want that.
I think
No
baseball is best when, like, the things that make up baseball are all factors. Like when you can pitch really well and you get rewarded for it, that's good baseball. When base running and defense factor in, that's good baseball.
Mm-hmm.
When home runs factor in to some degree, that's good baseball. Like you don't want it back when it was in 2014 with the high seam baseball when no one could get one out of the yard in Omaha.
Yeah.
You also don't want the 21-14 game that LSU and Southern Cal played in 98 or whatever it was, or Fresno State in 09, or some of what
Reggie
you've seen
Bush
earlier
was
in the year.
untackleable in that 21-14 game.
That's right. They deleted that from the records, but I do remember that. So I think the game was best maybe middle part of last decade when it felt like, okay, we overcorrected with the baseballs. Let's get this back to, where everybody's got a chance.
I just think there's something too when you have a dude on the mound, like everything matters. Like if you get a runner on base, like it's so like you have to cash in and capitalize. I just think that makes it more entertaining and exciting, edge of the seat than when you get a football score.
Right.
That's just me though.
No, I'm with you, and I think there were some parallels in Knoxville and Nashville today. Okay, we talked about Kentucky stealing 10 bases. Vanderbilt didn't do that as much, but I saw it a couple times this weekend. Score a runner from second on a ball that he didn't get out of the infield. You had Brody Johnson throw a squeeze bunt down today when nobody saw that coming. Connor Fennell pitched out of his mind today. And was like several pitches in a row, 69, 71, 77. And then he'd pound you with an 88 fastball. It was, after that. But it was fun to watch something a little different at times the last couple of weeks than the home run hitting exhibitions, which, like, again, those are great in balance too. But when the home run numbers get to the point where they've been, to me, I think that's gone too far if you grew up watching baseball like all of us have.
Right. Another guy, Chris, Sawyer Hawks becoming the man on the back end for Vanderbilt. He did 2 innings and got a save today. He's really, really good at closing out games. Maybe not a Osmer level guy, but he's right there up towards the top of the SEC with what he's been doing recently. I've been really impressed with him.
Chris, put your 1930s sports writer cap on, and you got to give him a sweet nickname.
Sawyer Hawks?
Yeah. He's got 2 great names. He's got red hair. He's awesome.
You're asking the wrong guy in the conversation here.
What you got, Alfred?
Yeah, no, that would be Jay Greason. that would be the nickname god.
Wow.
Yes,
I got elevated there.
I'm giving you that title. It has to be. Hawkins Field Hawks. It has to be something connecting the two, maybe.
Well, to dip away from the Easter theme in the family show, I'm willing to bet somebody's calling him Tua in that dugout. As in Hawk Tua. So
oh no.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't you think college kids are coming up with that?
Hey, didn't she get canceled? What happened?
Yes.
Dude, I've been canceled. Are you kidding
weird
me?
Bitcoin stuff.
No, not you. Not you, her.
No, I got canceled previously. I got fired from a sports radio show for criticizing ESPN National. Granted, it was on the local ESPN affiliate, but hey.
So y'all share that in common.
Yeah, that's about it, though.
Really good weekend for Vandy. RPI now is at 3, which puts Vanderbilt squarely in the mix, not just for hosting, but national seed. Brody Johnson was tremendous this weekend. Vanderbilt's pitching was tremendous this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Between J.D. Thompson, Hawks, Fennell today. In fact, they didn't really have to use a ton of arms to get through it, which surprised me too. As for Georgia, I think the takeaway, their pitching wasn't bad. I mean, it was pretty good in games 1 and 3, pretty awful in between. But I don't think Georgia had any ability to generate runs when it wasn't hitting home runs this weekend.
Also, moving forward with them, like, we gotta look at their splits, home and away. Yeah. I'm just curious what they are after this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, again, I will continue to say that's sort of a yes and no, because what your road series have been at Texas and Vandy in the league, which are 2 of the top 5 teams in the country in the ERA, I think, or at least top 10. So I mean, that's a factor.
Chicken or the egg?
Yeah, I don't know. The other one was at Florida, which was just a complete mismatch. That's back when Florida was.
I saw what you did, Grant,
starting
with
to fall
your
apart.
Easter reference. I liked it.
Jay, I wouldn't. I wish I could. I wish I could take credit for it. I wouldn't.
Hey,
trying to
just add it to the basket, and we'll pick up and move on.
Alfred, you've seen Georgia in person a few times. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see, what have they got left on the road?
Not bad. Alabama and Missouri. This is what I was going to talk about. They have a favorable schedule because they have, if they're that much better at home, their home opponents are A&M. That'll be tough, obviously, and Oklahoma. The good news about that A&M series, it's at Foley Field. So and that's at the end of the year. You can hold off and collect wins until then. It's favorable for them. I think this midweek they have against Clemson in Doug Kingsmore Stadium is crucial with how they played on the road and how good Clemson is. But beyond that, I mean, the schedule works out for them, and they still could very well host. I'd be shocked, really, if they didn't. And if that happens, they'll probably do okay in the NCAA tournament. You know what I mean? I think you just had a rough series in Nashville, and it have been okay at best on the road. I think they're 6-6 in true road games now. So, it's not the end of the world that it happened. And you got to realize, if you're a Georgia fan or a Georgia player or a Georgia anybody, that your schedule works out for you. So we'll see. But that was what I was going to bring up, was their road series in SEC play are not difficult whatsoever, and they can manage it.
I got a sneaky chess move for Wes Johnson. I'm going to see if you guys can guess it. This is what I would think about doing if I were him with my pitching.
And
I'm thinking a little further down the road.
You want us to guess, or are you going to spring it on us?
Well, I'll just tell you. This is what I would think about doing. Because barring disaster, Georgia's going to host someone in Foley Field, right?
Right.
Yes.
It's going to beat some poor team from the Northeast about 28-3. And who's their best arm right now?
Curly?
Starting wise, yeah.
Curly, hands down. And by the way, I thought Leighton Finley was a little better than Line too today. His changeup is really good pitch. So I mean, Georgia has other guys who can pitch, but if I'm Wes Johnson, I'm considering going TBA or somebody else on Fridays, and maybe saving Curly, not announcing him as a starter, and then maybe if you got a 6-3 lead in the sixth, bring him in to take care of it on a Friday night, or you can throw him in that Saturday spot, because Saturday's your toughest game in a regional if you're a home team, right? You're drawing. You've beaten someone into oblivion Friday night, and then you got the game that if you win it, you're probably advancing. What's that?
You mean you beat a 4?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what I said, but that's what I meant. You're beating some overmatched team into oblivion, which Georgia's going to do. I would just think about maybe saving Curley for a TBA or maybe just throwing him in Saturday. So that way you're in routine. And remember, he was a bullpen guy. And then he's your game 2 guy in a regional. Because I think you're wasting him on
I would have just
Friday.
move him straight to Saturday. I mean, I like that. I like that. If you don't have a bell cow 1, knock your 1 back to 2, which gives you an edge on Saturday, and you're hoping you're going to score 8 runs off Pico or Witherspoon or whoever you see. I mean, I'm for that because you're planning on outscoring anybody. You're already yielding a pitching edge. Now you're maybe coming even on Saturday. You're perceived 1 against their 2.
Mm-hmm.
They also, guys, I just watched them, their bullpen arms pitch very well against Georgia Tech, who's a really good team. So, I think it was a baseball thing this weekend. And if they do what you guys are saying on Friday, some of those arms obviously will go in whatever manner, and they could do well. You know what I mean? And if anyone can figure it out, it's Wes Johnson just because of his background.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think they're going to be fine. Before we go live on Monday, I am going to look at their splits. I'm just curious. Not saying that it's dramatically different one way or the other, but it's just something I want to look at moving forward. But yeah, they're going to host. They're going to be fine. They're going to be in the mix for this thing. And again, like Wes Johnson has just done a great job. I haven't looked. Did JT Quinn pitch at all this weekend for Georgia?
I don't think so.
That's JT Quinn, medicine woman, right?
Yeah.
They could have used some medicine last night for sure. Well, so Georgia has thrown 2 guys more than 30 innings this year. It has thrown 17 guys more than 10. Now the other problem is only 2 of those 17 are lefties. One's Charlie Goldstein and one's Alton Davis, who's not been a factor.
I think some of that's by design, though, too. Not only, I mean, they had some sore arms early in the year and something you had to work through getting to the conference. But if they're going to get to Omaha, they're going to have to win their fair share of 10-8 games. And in games like that, you may pitch 7, 8, 9 guys.
Yeah,
I just think as long as they're at home, like they're going to have a slugger's chance. It's just the pitching is just going to be, the question mark for them and how far they can go.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you make it to Omaha, all bets are off because that ballpark is enormous.
But it's in some ways, though, that's like how golf tried to tiger-proof their courses, which ended up helping the guys who hit it further.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they lengthened all these courses, which then meant Rory and Tiger and these guys who hit it 330 plus off the tee still had an advantage on approach. Bigger ballparks, those guys, the teams that smash, they just may not hit it over the wall, but they're still going to pepper the ball in the gaps.
Yeah. It also depends, having been in that ballpark, like the wind is a very real thing in that ballpark. So if it's blowing in, hardly anything's ever going to get out. By the way, sorry I joined a few minutes late. I had to give the old baby a bath. But did you guys dive into A&M in Arkansas? Have y'all touched on that?
We did hit some of that, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that, and then let's hit Ole Miss.
I guess let me ask y'all, like, if you can pinpoint one thing on A&M of like how they've been able to literally flip the switch here, like what do you attribute it to? Because they look like a totally different team. Like, is it the double headers, or I mean, they're just starting to swing it?
Well, I think it's 2 things, and I joined a little bit late too, Graham. Is it the Sorrell kid that came back from injury?
Yep. That's a part of it. So
my biggest thing is the games Michael Jordan started playing like Michael Jordan. I mean, Chase is hitting everything on the screws.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's one thing. I think their supporting guys have been pretty good. Hensler, Terrence Keel, Bayer Harrison's been unbelievable when he's been in there. And I think the other thing, and Alfred, you touched on it last night, Weston Moss has been phenomenal. Like he probably won them one of the games this weekend too.
Yeah, he did. I mean, the pitching on the back half, even in their third win the win in the third game was great with Luke Jackson. I mean, he's one of the standout players of that game with 5 strikeouts, and then Caden Wilson came in and shut it down for the final inning or so. I think it's just a combination of everything you guys said. Really, you took it right out of my mouth with how Jay Slavilet's come back into this forefront of being one of, if not the best player in college baseball, and then Caden Sorrell with the same thing, coming back from injury, as Bo said, and we popped that up. Also, good point there by Giga Bart. Yes, there it is.
Yeah,
that
might have been the season-changing play for them, because from that point on, they've been unstoppable.
Right. Yes.
That's an all-time video too, by the way. That Fisher thought he had it.
Everyone in the world thought it was out for half a sec.
Yeah.
So, also, guys, could you imagine if they had Gavin Grohovic, what they would be doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. But yeah, I mean, Luke Jackson and Weston Moss, that back end was great this weekend. And that's how you defeat Arkansas is holding them to nothing late in games like they did.
And we were quick and probably correct in wondering about the leadership in the dugout, but clearly looks more comfortable, and whatever patience or whatever buttons he's pushed, for as much criticism that he earned in the first half of this season, is the praise he deserves in this torrid stretch that has led to series wins in Knoxville and in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
nobody has better wins on the road than them.
I mean, good gravy. That's good stuff.
Yeah. I don't know if anything has come out. I mean, if it has, like Texas is going to have it, but let's say A&M goes on a historical run and they go back to Omaha, there's going to be something coming out of that weekend in Knoxville. So somebody's going to talk, whether it be early, a player, whatever. Like this is what happened after the no-hit shutout. And then from this moment on is when things got different. So I don't know if that's come out yet, but it definitely will.
Yeah, like somebody threw a water cooler, and there's always. But to me, it almost made me wonder, and not that Liam Doyle can't dominate anybody, so I don't mean to take away, but anytime you get no hit, that's embarrassing. I do wonder if there was some kind of look in the mirror, is this really what we are? Mm-hmm. And at that point, the season, nobody was expecting him to the losses had piled up to such a point where it almost felt like you couldn't make it up, right? And at that point, I wonder if the pressure was almost off because so much had gone wrong. They were ridiculously bad, and then I don't know. That's probably too easy. I mean, ultimately you've got to be in a batter's box and make contact with the baseball going 95 at just the right time. It's not just to put your mind to it in some ways, but then again, baseball, you see guys go through slumps all the time because it's completely mental. I don't know. That's a great question because somebody will have a long form story about that after the season if it ends up being an Omaha season, and we'll know. And I can't wait to read it.
Well, and A&M, they're kind of lucky that this happened at the beginning of the season. Like college baseball, if you're good, around 60 games. So if you have a bad 2.5 to 3 weeks, your season could be shot. So they've kind of, obviously have hit the turning point. This is now 9 wins in a row, 9 or 10 wins in a row. So, I mean, this is who we kind of thought that they would look like all season.
Yeah. The streak got snapped because they lost one game to Arkansas, but still it would be 9 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, 9 out of 10, yeah. Yep.
got to give that middle game Arkansas won, by the way. Got to give Gabe Yackel credit. It got kind of dicey early for him, but he ended up only having 1 earned run anyway, and then he ended up going 5 2/3 and struck out 8 to get a win. So that's got to do something for his confidence. I know they didn't win the series, but Arkansas fans, you got to like that, seeing that out of him.
And
yeah,
visor tip to that crowd. Holy goodness, that place was full.
They like baseball a little bit.
Also, do we have any Arkansas fans in the chat? Like, was that a big deal that they canceled the football game like today, the day of? I saw they put out the social media thing. I didn't know if that was like anticipated or if that came out of nowhere.
I blame Nico. I think it had to do with Nico's NIL negotiations, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
That poor kid.
Well,
do not get.
Poor is not the right word to use there, Graham.
Correct. Just don't get on social media if you're Nico.
No.
He's going to be the Dave Chappelle gif where he's just like wiping tears with $100 bills.
Accurate. Let's talk about the Arkansas side of that. Their fans are in a little bit of a freak out. Yeah, I'm still not. Well, and this is both teams. I think if you're both teams, I still think you can get more out of your starting pitching than you're getting right now. I mean, certainly Arkansas could have this weekend, but A&M sitting there with Ryan Prager. You know, we named 3 All-SEC teams the other day. He wasn't on any of them. National Pitcher of the Year. I mean, point is, you got a little bit more in the tank. And same with Arkansas. Gage Wood can pitch better. You finally got a spot for Gackle where it worked. You know, they've had a couple other arms that bound. You got Will McIntyre sitting back there, who's pitched a lot of big innings in post game. I'm not freaked out about Arkansas. Maybe if I dig in, I would be a little bit more, but I think that fan base is.
I don't think they should worry. I think it's just kind of this is the way the schedule is shaked out for them the last 2 weeks. You know, you play Georgia and Athens, and then you just happen to catch A&M when they're red hot. You know, it's just that's the way it shakes out sometimes.
Right.
They're going to be like they're going to host, be a national seed, probably all that. So I'm not really worried about them.
Schedule is rough, though. We'll say that. At Florida, Texas, at LSU, Tennessee.
Yikes.
So they got the team, they got the roster, they just got to do it. And hopefully they turn it around soon, maybe with a really good midweek spark at some point in here. The midweeks are 2 against Little Rock next week, and then way later against Missouri State, at Missouri State, who they did lose to, FYI. But I'd be shocked if that happened again.
Well, the good news in that is you will build up no false sense of security about what your strengths and weaknesses are going to the postseason.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, if they, I mean, bottom line, if they navigate all that, like they're gonna earn it, just like Auburn and A&M with their schedules. I mean, there's nothing you can say other than they earned it.
Let's talk Alabama LSU for a minute. I didn't get to see a lot of that one. Alabama has salvaged the series. Carson Osmer closed it out with 2 innings, giving up 1 run. I saw Kate Snell on the postgame interview, but don't see a spectacular batting line here. Richie Bonamalo hit a home run for them today. Zane Adams was good. They needed that. We've talked about him slipping lately. Maybe pitching in the 3 is a little less pressure. LSU pitched, 8 guys today? Pitched Shores in relief. Didn't see that one coming.
Mm-hmm.
Any takeaways from this one?
Yeah, LSU walked a lot of guys. Will Schmidt had 3 walks. Maverick Rizzi with 2. Chase Shores with 2. I think they just allowed Alabama to get on base a little too much, and eventually it bit them. Now, to be fair, LSU did kind of jump back into this game for a brief second with a Jake Brown home run. But then it all went away when Alabama built the lead back up. So, nonetheless, I mean, LSU, you know, got some wins in this weekend. Obviously, I think Alabama needed this more than LSU did. I think that's pretty obvious, actually. But I got to give credit to the Crimson Tide for doing that. Anytime you can get a win, if you're any team in Alex Box Stadium, you're going to take it. So that's what they did tonight. And man, Carson Hosmer is one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah.
Baseball.
And nobody talks about him. Like nobody.
Nope.
He is flying under the radar. I guess my question is, did you guys think William Schmidt would be a little bit better than what he's looked like? Like his stuff is electric. You can tell he's going to be good, but like tonight, 2/3 of an inning, 2 runs, walk 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. He could have. I mean, William Schmidt, if he wanted to go, could have gotten top 10 in the draft money, I think, a year ago.
Yeah.
I think some of these games, Alfred, you used a real interesting word to me, and that's need. I mean, you look at some of these teams who gave the best performance of the weekend, A&M, Alabama with a huge win, Vandy with a statement performance. I'm not saying those teams are desperate, but the real sense of urgency and need that resonated in their performance. And I'm not saying LSU or Georgia or even Arkansas was complacent per se, but I didn't see the urgency that their opponents displayed this weekend.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Graham, I'm going to counterpoint you there for a minute. The more I think about this, because I started thinking, like, how many just awesome freshman pitchers have we had in this league?
Not a lot. Like what Aiden King is doing at Florida is not the norm.
And I don't even know who would be a close second in the freshman pitcher of the year race. But then think about the dynamics in college ball right now. The conditions favor the hitters. Just, bat to ball right now, number one. And number two, you got so many old guys in college baseball. Like you had a 7th-year senior shut down Tennessee tonight. And a lot of your older guys are hitters. I think Hayden Schott's his 6th or 7th year at A&M.
By the way, best follow on social media of anybody in college baseball.
Oh, he's so funny. He is so funny.
Highly recommend it.
Yes.
Well, and here's my point. Most high school pitchers, if they come to college, even the great ones, if they've got 2 really polished pitches, they're lucky, right? You can throw 95 fastball and throw it again and again and again, or 98, whatever, and eventually somebody's going to hit it if they don't have another pitch to offset them or a couple pitches. And that's like what, pitchability is what makes your aces. And I just think when you're coming to college at 18 and you're facing guys that are 24, that in any other universe and time in the baseball season would be, would be AA hitters, that's hard. Yeah. Because you're not at the point in your career where you develop your pitches and your confidence in your other stuff for guys to lay off the fastball. So, maybe we shouldn't be shocked.
I do worry that nowadays everybody's just all about velocity. And like we don't really worry about the pitching aspect of it. I do worry about that part. Greg Maddux wasn't throwing 100 miles an hour. He wasn't really close to it. He could just locate, have movement and all that. I just hope we kind of go back to that at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, Greg Maddux is like saying, man, we just don't have another Steph Curry. I mean, you're picking a unicorn there, brother. I mean,
I know.
But I get your point.
Yeah. Well, and what Chris put in our text chain, the kid from Vandy was tremendous today, and he wouldn't have got a speeding ticket on the Autobahn. I mean,
yeah.
When you're at the stadium and you're seeing 69 on the radar gun,
I imagine the guy holding the gun was holding it and went. Took the batteries out, checked it again. I mean,
was that an Ephus pitch?
No, he just got a slider that he takes something off and it just moves like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Also, real quick, Bama. I kind of like they put the stickers on the helmet, like football, like Florida State, Ohio State. You don't really see that in baseball a lot. I like it. Other thing, I meant to say this earlier. Vanderbilt, if we're ranking uniforms, I'm sorry, Chris, they got the worst uniforms in the league.
The black ones?
And what they wore today, the green. Like, why does Vandy wear
Oh, okay.
green?
Well, I hate the black ones. The
With the
green ones, I at
pinstripes?
least get. Yeah, I hate those. I at least get the sentiment, what they're doing. It's a military thing.
Well, you
on
know,
game
Graham, he hates
threes.
the military.
Right, right.
I knew you were gonna
look at
say
your
it.
hair, man.
I knew you were gonna say it. Not true, by the way.
USA.
Well, I will tell you,
USA.
I'm not a big fan in general of uniforms that don't have one of your colors in them. So,
Well, our friend, our comrade Graham Donetski just doesn't like anybody who's going to support the troops.
apparently not.
What Josh just said is accurate. Adidas schools. It's those Adidas schools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Hey, before we get to the other games today, we didn't get to. We didn't intentionally do it. We didn't talk Oklahoma, which just blew out Missouri in 3-run rule games. Not going to help the RPI much, although it was at Missouri. But any thoughts on Oklahoma this weekend?
West May, thank you for being patient. I've seen you.
Yeah, thank you, Wes.
Typing up a storm in our chat, waiting for Oklahoma, and finally we get to them. But yeah, I mean, a load of runs and a load of hits. It just helps to get the offense right today, or actually, yesterday in the doubleheader. 18 hits the first game, 13 in the second. That's a winning formula, and obviously it was against Missouri. So, Oklahoma, I said it, in the predictions, and even when we did our first reaction, they're on the incline, or I guess I'll go the opposite way for the camera, that way. And that's, having a series against Missouri helps that. And this team that was once reeling, way back at the beginning-ish of SEC play to a few weeks ago, is starting to climb back up thanks to a series win over Vandy. This one, it's only going to help them. It's going to help their NCAA tournament seeding, their RPI, and it's just a good weekend whenever you play Missouri.
Yeah, so this is two weeks in a row where Oklahoma's really kind of put it all together. So again, they have turned a 180 and they couldn't hit anything, they couldn't score any runs, and then they have been on quite the roll. So they look good. I did see, by the way, so they won the Big 12 last season. They got a better record in conference play this year than they were a season ago at this point.
Wow.
Huh. That's weird.
Because didn't they win like 20-something games in the Big 12? So they must have gone on a heater at the end.
Yeah, they must have gone on a big-time heater. Also, everybody talking about Mizzou uniforms in the chat.
Oh, they are awful.
Their game one uniforms this weekend were incredible. Anytime you go cream with cursive, I don't care if you're the Unicorns.
Oh, this was
I'm all in. I'm all in. Those are the best uniforms Mizzou's got.
They had
so Graham is Team Unicorn, anti-military. I got to keep a list now. Hey, if we're going to talk uniforms, what about what South Carolina did this weekend?
They look. I know Alfred loved them. What, Chef's Kiss?
Yes, they. We were kind of knocking off Adidas. Under Armour with them does it right. That's one of, if not the best aesthetic in college baseball. The all-around look that they have with their uniforms and the SC, the baseball logo. So South Carolina, you do that right, and you do it well.
Table that thought a minute, because there were a lot of things to talk about with South Carolina this weekend, but we for our Oklahoma fans waiting, when you do that to Missouri, I don't know what you take away, but I think the big thing to me was Kate Crossland, because we said Missouri can hit a little bit, okay, and that's the second really good start Crossland's had in a row. If you can give him 5 or 6 quality innings, and you got Kyson Witherspoon, that combination is enough with what you've got left in the bullpen to beat anybody in a series just about any time, especially as well as they field it and run and could do some things to create runs when the ball's not leaving the yard.
To our Oklahoma fans, is it now official? Is Witherspoon going to be their Saturday guy? Because they may have embraced kind of what that game 2 philosophy that you suggested
Well,
A couple 3 series ago, Chris.
I would do that.
Maybe Jay, but I think it's a combination of things. One, it's he had back spasms, right? That's number one. That was last week, and then the way the schedule is shaken out. I mean, this is what two weeks in a row they've done Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think it's a combination of those two.
I think so too, but coaches don't like to change things up sometimes, especially older coaches. And, you know, if you change your routine, well, that sends a different message. Now you got your built-in excuse.
Well, it's also baseball.
Well, we've been doing this and it's been working. Right.
I mean, it's baseball. If you, hey, Crash said it, if you believe you're playing well because you're getting some or you're wearing ladies' underwear, then you are. And Annie, you should know that.
Yeah. I just think for Oklahoma, like everybody knows Kyson Witherspoon is awesome. We were kind of thinking that it was going to be Malachi, the number 2 option. It now appears to be Crossland. And if he steps up and is able to close strong, that is a very nice 1-2 punch. And if you have Malachi going on Sunday, that's not a bad option for a Sunday.
Chris and I are old enough to remember that anytime anybody names their kid Malachi these days, I think of Children of the Corn, and I'm going. I mean, that's like naming your kid Beelzebub.
Right. I'm
out on horror movies. No chance.
I am too.
No chance.
I've never understood horror movies.
No chance.
What's the point? Trey Gamble had a pretty nice weekend for them too.
Yeah, they also in the first game of yesterday's doubleheader, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys with 3 hits. So that's pretty good. I mean, and that was because of Willits. I think did Willits homer twice? No, I'm sorry, Jason Walk homered, and then Carmichael homered that game. Willits had I think some doubles in there. So yeah, just explosive offensively, and that's what happens when you play that kind of opponent.
It also just is a striking reminder that Hoover is going to be car wreck after car wreck after car wreck with this many good teams. Yeah. I mean, Oklahoma's going to be like what, a 9 seed?
Yeah.
Well, Jay, I think this year more so than a lot of other years, I think you're going to see coaches not say it out loud, but I think you're going to see some coaches like, let's get out of here. Like,
completely agree with that.
Let's get as much rest as possible before
it's landed in the SEC basketball tournament.
I wonder how many teams are going to be ranked higher in the polls than they're going to be seated in Hoover.
How many make Hoover this year?
Majority?
They changed the format, right?
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody makes it. Okay.
Get ready for the Missouri surprise run, guys. It's coming.
Well, let's.
Why are they going to go? Are they going to go on foot from Columbia to Hoover for charity?
Man, I'm starting to think Missouri's gonna do it. The 0 for 30.
Yeah, it's
just guys. It's their bullpen. Like when you don't have a lot of good options, coming out of the bullpen, it's just hard to have a chance.
They don't have starting options either. That's the problem.
Yeah. That
I was waiting for Alfred to chime in when Graham said it's their bullpen. He goes, "Well, it's kind of their roster. They just don't have a chance."
Yeah. Well, I also was going to say they're 12 games away from 0 for 30. That's not a lot left. So
that Bama record of 5 wins and 5 conference wins in a season is looking pretty good right now.
They have scored 72 runs in the SEC and given up 214. I'm looking at their ERAs. They have got, I don't even know how many guys that have pitched in SEC games. They have 3 of them with ERAs under 10. One is Nick Smith, who threw 1 scoreless inning. Another was Josh Kirchhoff, who is you know, a 9.82. Xavier Lovett with a 6.98 ERA in league play has been their best pitcher.
Their remaining schedule at Alabama, Georgia at home, at A&M, yikes, Mississippi State at home.
Oh.
So those are their opportunities if you want just what their schedule is.
I think
I don't.
we were texting about this. Was it today or yesterday? Do you guys think, like, will it get to the point where the commissioner just makes a phone call? It was like, get everything in order, that kind of a thing.
I just don't, Jay, you're probably dialed into the conference office. I am a little bit, but I just don't think that's anywhere on the SEC's radar right now with
Well,
all the
I know they got a
NIL and
lot.
the other stuff. Yeah.
I know they got a lot going on, but you just like
But I get it.
History, not good history.
That would stun me to levels of. I mean, I think in some ways the running joke until Diego Pavia landed in West End was everybody was fine with Vanderbilt stinking at football because you want your elite to be among the national powers every year. Having a run of the litter, a lot of these teams are not going to be upset about that.
Teams that don't play Missouri this year: Auburn, Kentucky, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vandy.
South Carolina could use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Missouri's other schedule thing, by the way, guys. Guess who plays them in 2 more midweeks this year? Out of conference.
It must be somebody good.
Yeah, it is. It's really concerning. Made my eyes
Kansas
pop
City
out.
Royals.
No.
I just found it. Yeah.
You're close. Kansas. They get the Kansas Jayhawks twice.
Oof.
That's not good.
The border war.
Kansas is really, really good this year out of the Big 12. So, yeah, obviously that doesn't affect 0-30 conference record, but it just doesn't help them get any wins, and they're just a team who wants wins for, pride at this point. So, yeah, kind of rough. I think it's becoming a real possibility at this point.
Here's the crazy thing. Since SEC play started, they're 0-18 in the league. They're 5-0 in the midweek.
Wow.
Yeah, but you remember one of those was an extra innings against an OVC team.
Yeah. Beat Illinois for whatever that's worth. I mean, it's not pretty, but the point is it's just this combination of being really bad in the league being what it is. Who have we not hit? Florida, Mississippi State still going. We didn't hit Ole Miss, Graham.
So yeah, not a good weekend, guys. If you're an Ole Miss fan, first 2 games, Ole Miss 10 for 60 with runners in scoring position. This is an Ole Miss team that is built around 2 things: drawing walks and hitting home runs. They didn't do any of that the first 2 games, and then today you kind of saw a totally different story. This is kind of what I thought the whole weekend would look like for Ole Miss. You saw the home runs. You saw the extra base hits today. This Ole Miss needed this bad. This was really the first time all year long that Ole Miss would face adversity. You lose the emotional Tennessee series. You lose the midweek to Little Rock. You lose the first 2 to South Carolina. So this was by far the most adversity Ole Miss has faced, and you needed this one, and they did a very nice job to close strong. One thing to note, a cool thing, Fawley, who's been lights out for Ole Miss, especially the last 2.5 weeks, he hit another home run, the grand slam in the first. The cool thing about it, his mom caught the home run ball in left field.
That's
I
crazy.
saw that. He's been really good. He has
been terrific.
That has been a pleasant surprise, like out of nowhere. Again, Ole Miss had 1 catcher on the roster after last season, Campbell Smithwick, who's not really playing much, and so they bring in a handful of catchers, Fawley one of them, and he has just been a very pleasant surprise and a bright spot.
Except for South Carolina, that middle game, the second game they won because we didn't do a reaction because it's a Good Friday. But Jake McCoy went deep enough to get South Carolina in a good direction. 6 1/3, struck out 7, only gave up 1 earned run and 3 hits. So he really had that Ole Miss lineup under control. Nathan Hall, really good weekend for the Gamecocks. Multi-hit game the first game. Second game, once again a multi-hit game with 3 RBIs in that one. He's as much as Ethan Petrie is the big name, obviously, because of draft stock and home runs. Nathan Hall is a real gear in that offense that turns it, whenever South Carolina does play well. So that was the case this weekend offensively for them. I know they kind of let it slip today with that result, but you got to love a series win if you're Paul Maneri in that team.
Yeah. Also, I did not realize until after the fact. Now, these two teams haven't played a lot over the years, especially back in the division days. Ole Miss has never won a series at South Carolina in program history.
Really? Well, I mean, up until 5 or 6 years ago, and even within that time, I remember 2 years ago, I thought South Carolina at this point of the year was the best team in the country. And then injuries hit them, and that program's not been the same since. But that used to be just a brutally tough place to win. I did have a couple things on Ole Miss. Mitchell Sanford hit 2 home runs today. But I think the bigger thing, and I get that their offense isn't great, but I thought Mason Nichols going 5 with 2 earned runs and McCausland coming in scoreless after that. I mean, Ole Miss is going to have to find other really good arms that give them starts and big relief appearances, and that was a step in a better direction today.
Well, I think we're kind of at the point in the season. So this is a trend now. This is 3 games in a row on Friday nights where the Elliott Mason Morris combination hasn't picked up a win. And again, Morris has not given up a run his last 12 innings. So we're kind of at the conversation. He's been so good. Like, do you want to put him in the rotation? Like, do you put him in at Friday night, slide Elliott to 2 and have Maddox go game 3, and then you got Nichols coming out of the bullpen? He's done that throughout the course of his career. I mean, I kind of think, if Ole Miss is going to shake things up here, this is kind of the point in the season where they would do it.
You guys were talking, and rightly so, about whatever long-form narrative is going to be written about the rally from the Aggies after game 1 in Knoxville. If South Carolina goes on a run, to get gutted like they did with 2 ninth-inning grand slams last Sunday and now take 2 of 3 against Ole Miss, and I don't know what the rest of their schedule, the last 4 SEC series holds, and it's going to take something pretty doggone miraculous to get back in the conversation to get in it. But Chris, you put over our little text message chain, their only losses are against really good teams.
Yeah. Yeah, give that nugget. Chris,
I would never in a million years have guessed this. South Carolina is the only team in the country looking at Warren Nolan and results come in, quads change. But as of right now, I think South Carolina is the only team in the country without a loss in quad 2, quad 3, quad 4. Now, the problem, they're 4-18 in quad 1.
Yeah.
But that is amazing.
Well, they have some opportunities with that. The rest of the schedule, SEC-wise, going forward, at Kentucky next weekend, Florida at home, at Auburn, and then LSU. Good news for that one, though. It's at Founders Park.
That's a tough slate, though.
Yeah,
like, going to Kentucky is easier said than done.
LSU to end the year is not nice. A little Paul Maneri reunion to end this year. That'll be fun.
Who have we not talked about because it is Easter Eve and we probably all need to crash before long?
Florida and Mississippi State.
Still going, but what
I got it right now
from game 1? Okay.
It's 5-3 State. They got the bases loaded in the bottom of the 5th.
Oh. Ouch.
So Aiden King, I think this is King. It looks like he's still going, but he's in a tough spot.
He's hit Ross Highfield in the back.
No, they just made a change. So King is out.
Okay. Last night was kind of a disaster for Mississippi State.
I did not see that one coming. I didn't think that it would be like that.
No, I thought Florida would have to. I could see Florida winning them, obviously, but I thought they'd have to earn it harder than that. We got good Brody Donay again, guys. Last night, 2 home runs. It was like week 1 and 2 Brody Donay all over again. That was kind of nice to see. And then multi-hit games from Colby Shelton was fabulous. 3 hits in that one. Hayden Yost, Ashton Wilson, Justin Nadeau, all with multiple hits in that game. Liam Peterson earned the win, 6 innings, 6 strikeouts. Did give up a bunch of hits, but kept the runs at a minimum, 7 hits to 3 earned runs. I think you'll take that kind of trade-off, and obviously he can show that he can pitch better than that. But right now, Mississippi State obviously looking to get one back, and someone just got beamed to get a run in, so it's 5-3. But yeah, that one got away in a hurry for Mississippi State in the 6th inning when Florida put up a 7 spot.
State just scored another run. 6-3 State. By the way, this game is late for 2 reasons. State's football game was today, and then TV. I think this is the last game of the day. How long did that Vandy Georgia game? What was the official time on that last night, Chris?
I don't even know. They had a light delay where the lights went out for an hour. So that was part of the issue.
That's no fun.
No. Have we hit everybody?
Yes, we have. Josh, that's a good point. What he just commented. I am not going to rule that man out until the season ends and they're literally done. That's a very good point. Last year taught a lot of people that.
All right, let's do this. Let's wrap it up. Jay's never been a part of this. We do medal stand, Jay. We do gold, silver, bronze for team and player, and this will be of the day. So I'll give you guys a minute to round up your choices, and while you're doing that, I am going to give you the standings in the SEC along with RBIs, which are interesting. So let me pull that up. Hang on just a minute. I know Texas is on top of the SEC now. What a full 3-game lead over Arkansas, 3.5 on Tennessee, 4 on LSU, 5 on Vandy, half a dozen. We've seen Georgia 6 games out in the standings as well as it just played is a little bit of a shock. But anyway, Texas, your number 1 team in the SEC standings, ranked number 2 in the RPI. Arkansas second at 13-5, 5 in the RPI. Tennessee is now 3rd in the standings, 8th in the RPI after losing to Kentucky. LSU alone in 4th place, 12-6, 6th in the RPI. Vanderbilt 11-7, alone in 5th place, 3 in the RPI. Georgia 6th in the SEC, tied with Oklahoma, but number 1 in the RPI, and Oklahoma number 20. Ole Miss at 10-8, tied for 6th with Georgia and Oklahoma, 19th in the RPI. Auburn also tied with Alabama at 9th. Both teams 9-9. Alabama 9th in the RPI. Auburn 4th. Then we go 11-12. Texas A&M and Kentucky, records of 8-10 and 7-10 in RPIs of 35 and 33. Florida and Mississippi State tied for 13th. That'll change tonight. One of these teams will be 5-12. The other will be 6-11. Florida 24 in the RPI. Mississippi State 40. South Carolina 50 in the RPI, alone at 15th place at 4-14, and Missouri 0-18, 154 in the RPI. All right, medal stand. Who would like to go first? I can if you guys need a minute.
I'll go.
Okay.
All right. Gold, Kimble Schuessler, because if you're gonna knock in a village half the size of Chattanooga, somebody needs to say your name. And then I'll silver or bronze, interchangeable with the Dairy Queen assortment of soft serve only from Connor Fennell and Nick McKay. 2 guys who went deep into games against arguably the 2 best hitting teams in America, with double-digit strikeouts. Fennell fanning 11. McKay with 12 Ks against the Vols. Those are my individuals. In terms of teams, I'll give A&M the gold, going on the road and doing that there. For the last 2.5 weeks, they've looked like who we thought they were 2.5 months ago. Vandy the silver, and then Texas at home. 2 hard-fought games and to beat Auburn in games 1 and 2, and just a bludgeoning. Treated Auburn like baby seals today.
I got next, if that's okay.
Sure.
Same thing, really, as Jay, just different orders. I'm going to give Nick McKay the gold. To pitch against Tennessee like he did in Knoxville, to go 7 2/3, strike out 12, and give up no earned runs. Super impressive from Nick McKay. Phenomenal start. He gets the gold for me. Silver, I'm going to slide in Schuessler there. 3 for 5, 8 RBIs, 2 homers. Phenomenal job today. Was a big part of the scoring fest that Texas had against Auburn. And then Connor Fennell getting in there with the bronze, 11 strikeouts. Just so different from every other pitcher it seems like we see in the league, with the way the ball moves when it leaves his hand, and it threw Georgia. It gave Georgia some fits. So those are my players. And for teams, I'm going to do Texas with the gold. Really for today and just the entire weekend. I'll even throw that in there. They are a wagon at home. They have proven clearly that they are the lone standing number 1 team in college baseball right now. Obviously that can change, but for now, that gets them the gold spot. Silver, Vanderbilt, kind of the same thing, today and the entire weekend, just stifled Georgia and that explosive offense that is at the top of the country in home runs. For that, they're going to get the silver in a series that was huge for them, really for their season going forward. And then for tonight, Kentucky, you're going to get the bronze. So same thing, with the players and teams, they all connect here. But, to go in there and just allow 3 hits and 1 run to Tennessee, you did in Knoxville, you did incredible. So that's my medal stands there. Texas rocks. Jonah Williams, we gave him an entire section tonight. Go back and watch that when we're done.
Yeah. He was good. 3 for 3. All right. For me, for my gold, I'm going to go Kimble Schuessler. Double, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. Enough said. My silver, I'm going to go Fennell for Vandy against that Georgia offense. 5 2/3, 11 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody. 83 pitches, 56 strikes. My bronze, Mitchell Sanford for Ole Miss. 3 for 4. 2 home runs, had a couple of RBIs as well. Got to give Sanford some love. He not only was good today, he had a really good weekend, all 3 games for Ole Miss. Now for teams, my gold for today, Kentucky. They needed this one, and to do what they did on the road, that's a big win for Kentucky to win 4-1 and holding that high-powered Tennessee offense to just 3 hits in Knoxville. My silver, Vandy, just to do what they did today and all weekend at home against Georgia. They're going to get my silver, winning today 5-2, and just what they did all weekend long. And then my bronze, I'm going to go to Alabama. They needed it big time, and they pick up a much-needed win on the road. So I think they're right around 500 or around that mark, I think, maybe a game above or below. So they really needed this one, and they take care of business 7-4 in Alex Box Stadium. So they get my bronze tonight.
All right, this is really funny. I think this is the first. I had the same players as Alfred, the same teams as Graham. So in case you weren't keeping score, I have Nick McKay with my gold. I think anytime you go to Lindsey Nelson Stadium and get 12 strikeouts, give up, pretty much go 8 innings. And if Cole Hage catches a fly ball, he's got 8 shutout innings. Instead, ends up giving up 1 unearned run. Kimble Schuessler next, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, and Connor Fennell at Vandy. My bronze teams, Kentucky, you going to Lindsey Nelson, beat Tennessee in a, with the series still on the line, night in that park, that's a big win. Vandy, silver, if we're doing team of the weekend, I think it's between Vandy and Kentucky. Vandy and Texas. You pick your team there.
South
With
Carolina.
A&M in there too. Yeah, in South Carolina. But Vandy Silver for today, and I'm with Alfred. Alabama didn't get enough love today from us, mostly because that game was finishing. But to go to the box, needing to win a game and doing it and play pretty well, that's a tough place to win. So there you go. All right. Any parting thoughts for anybody on the way out here?
Great minds think alike on our medal stands. Good job, guys. That was really fun.
Mine is Happy Easter, everybody.
Yes, that too.
Mine is something and you guys may have touched on it, I guess, Thursday night. Be real interesting to see as much love as we were giving Texas. They need Jared Spencer to be okay because he's a dude. And you leave in the third inning with arm soreness, that your mind can race on that. So that'll be an interesting storyline to follow, is heading into a monster series with A&M next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the last we heard, they think it's not all that serious. But I mean, anytime you get arm soreness and a guy removed in the middle of an inning, you do have to wonder. That could have just been being precautious, just being very cautious. Oh, speaking of which, Rylan Zaborowski didn't play for Georgia last night or today, so keep an eye on that. Yeah, he got hit in the ankle with the ground ball, it looked like. So that's something to monitor going forward. And R.J. Austin for Vanderbilt didn't play today. Got a shoulder injury. Actually came out of the game in the middle of a defensive inning last night, which tells you that must have been bothering. So that's two key players. I mean, Zaborowski could be the player in the league at this point. He's got an argument. So keep an eye on those two things. No Sunday night reaction from us because it's Easter Sunday. We're doing that in observance of that, just as we didn't do a Friday night live stream for observance of Good Friday. So with that, to all of our audience, happy Easter. God bless you. Jesus loves you. Thank you so much for watching. We love our audience here. Really do. Happy to serve you. Again, happy Easter. Go be with your families. Have a great one. For Alfred Esmond, Graham Doty, Jay Greason, I'm Chris Lee. Have a great night. We'll see you again soon at Southeastern 16.